There's a particular kind of silence that doesn't feel calm at all. It's the silence that settles after you've swallowed a reaction, softened a boundary, or agreed to something that didn't sit right with you. From the outside, it looks like harmony. But inside, it feels like holding your breath for a little too long. Most people wouldn't notice it happening. They see someone gentle, patient, easy to get along with. But you know that beneath this surface, there is a quiet tightening, a small contraction deep in the chest, every time you choose peace over honesty. It often begins in moments so small, they seem harmless. A partner makes a comment that stings, and instead of saying anything, you give a faint smile and change the subject. A coworker takes credit for something you did, and you tell yourself it's not worth the tension of correcting them. A family member crosses a line, and you excuse it as just how they are. Each time, the world stays calm, but something inside you shifts just slightly. Not enough to cause a scene, just enough for you to notice. And maybe you tell yourself it's maturity, or emotional strength, or wisdom. Maybe you genuinely believe that choosing peace is the noble path. But every now and then, in the quiet moments you don't often let yourself have, a question surfaces, not loud, but persistent. A kind of curiosity that feels uncomfortably familiar, as if you already know the answer but haven't been ready to face it. What drives people to protect peace even when it harms them? The question arrives softly, almost like it has been waiting for permission to exist. And once it's here, the space around it begins to widen, revealing a pattern that has shaped more of your life than you realized. The instinct to avoid conflict doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's learned, built layer by layer through years of emotional training, often long before adulthood, long before you had the language to understand what was happening. For many, it begins in childhood. Not necessarily in homes that appeared chaotic from the outside, but often in homes where emotions were unpredictable or unevenly distributed. Maybe a parent's mood shifted without warning, and you learned that the smallest disagreement could turn into something larger than you were prepared to handle. Maybe love felt conditional, and harmony was the price of staying connected. Or perhaps you were praised for being so easy, so well-behaved, the child who never caused trouble, and you started to equate stillness with safety, and conflict with the risk of losing affection. This kind of conditioning runs deeper than preference. It becomes a reflex, a kind of emotional muscle memory. And even in your adult life, long after the conditions that shaped you have changed, the instinct remains. You feel responsible for the emotional temperature of every room you enter. You feel the tension before anyone else notices it. You rush to smooth, soften, or absorb it before it grows into something you fear you won't know how to manage. It's this quiet hyper-responsibility that shows up in relationships. You sense your partner's irritation and adjust your tone. You hold back opinions because you don't want to provoke disagreement. You apologize first, even when you're not the one who fractured the moment. You become the equilibrium that everyone relies on, sometimes without ever asking if you can handle the weight. At work, the pattern is similar. You take on tasks no one else wants to avoid disappointing anyone. You stay silent in meetings when you know a decision is flawed, because correcting it feels confrontational. You say, "It's fine," when it isn't, because the alternative seems like stirring the waters too much. In families, the pattern becomes almost unquestioned. You are the mediator, the one who understands everyone, the one who doesn't make a big deal out of things. And while this role earns you appreciation, sometimes even admiration, it also keeps you locked in a position where your own needs remain soft, quiet, and deferred. But underneath all these scenarios lies a deeper truth, one that's harder to articulate. People who keep the peace at any cost often believe, consciously or not, that conflict is not just uncomfortable, it is dangerous. that it threatens connection, that it puts love at risk, that it exposes them to rejection or disappointment they don't believe they can bear. So the instinct becomes protective, not simply of others, but of themselves. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, you begin to see that the silence you choose is not neutral. It has weight. And every time you avoid conflict, the unspoken message you send to yourself is that your discomfort is more acceptable than someone else's. That your voice can be sacrificed if it preserves stability. That your authenticity is negotiable. This is where the deeper layer emerges, the place where the familiar tension forms. When keeping the peace becomes a pattern, something else begins to happen. A quiet distance forms within you. Not from other people, but from your own emotional life. You stop noticing what you actually feel because you've become so accustomed to prioritizing what others might feel. You disconnect from your inner signals, the irritation, the hurt, the disappointment, the desire, because they complicate the peace you're trying to maintain. And the irony is painfully clear. The more you avoid conflict, the more conflict you carry within yourself. Eventually, there comes a moment, sometimes subtle, sometimes unmistakable, when you recognize the cost. A conversation where you agree too quickly and feel your chest tighten. A relationship where your kindness becomes expected instead of appreciated. A situation where you say, "It's okay," and the words taste false the moment they leave your mouth. These moments are not explosive. They are quiet. But they are pivotal. Because they reveal the truth you've been skirting around for years. The emotional pivot point arrives with surprising softness. You are not keeping the peace. You are keeping the illusion of peace. And that illusion requires you to disappear just a little each time. This realization doesn't come with anger or blame. It comes with a strange kind of clarity. The understanding that conflict avoidance isn't about being kind, or patient, or mature. It is about a deeply rooted fear of jeopardizing connection. It is about a child who learned that calmness meant safety, and an adult who continued living inside that rule long after it stopped serving them. From this place, something shifts internally. Not a decision, not a strategy, but a recognition. You begin to notice that your feelings don't vanish simply because you suppress them. They linger in the body, in the way your shoulders tense, in the fatigue that settles after social interactions, in the subtle resentment you try to ignore. You start to see that every moment of false peace leaves a small imprint, a reminder that avoiding discomfort does not protect you from it. And in that recognition, you also realize something else. True harmony is not something you can manufacture by shrinking yourself. It's something that grows when you allow your voice, your boundaries, and your discomfort to exist alongside your desire for connection. The transformation isn't dramatic. It doesn't need to be. It's the slow, steady acknowledgement that you deserve relationships where honesty is not a threat. That the people who truly care about you can hold your truth without shattering. That conflict, when navigated with sincerity, can be a bridge rather than a fracture. As you sit with this understanding, the script begins to quiet. Not to resolve, but to let the insight settle in its own time. The same way good therapy leaves you in a thoughtful pause, aware that something important has shifted even if you cannot yet name all the ways it will change you. The cost of keeping the peace has never been silence itself. It has been what you trade away to maintain it. And perhaps now, for the first time, you can see that the peace you've been protecting has always been incomplete without your voice. Peace that costs your voice isn't peace. You deserve harmony that includes you.